The Cleveland Cavaliers are currently second in the Eastern Conference, and Donovan Mitchell is putting together another sensational season. However, if they flame out again in the playoffs, will Donovan Mitchell want to stay with the Cleveland Cavaliers and keep the good times rolling? Or will he want to leave and go to another team? According to one NBA executive in the Eastern Conference, he notes that Donovan Mitchell will absolutely leave Cleveland once his contract ends. We're going to break down this report and so much more today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. Donovan Mitchell is apparently leaving Cleveland once his contract ends with them. And the reason this is so important for the New York Knicks to monitor is because every report has the New York Knicks making an all-star trade or a superstar trade this offseason. That's why they're keeping all their first-round picks. That's why when they made the trades for OG Anunoby, Precious Achiuwa, Bojan Bogdanovic, and Alec Burks, they were careful to give up players but not give up any of their first-round picks. And there's a reason for that. They have an agenda. They have a plan in mind. They want to look for that disgruntled star, that disgruntled player that is not happy with how the season went with the team that they're with. And if that player exists and they become available this offseason, the New York Knicks will throw every first-round pick available that they have to try to acquire that player, especially if it's a player that they covet. And Donovan Mitchell has been a player that's long been linked to the New York Knicks. And if he ever becomes available at any point in time, the New York Knicks will be knocking, looking to see if they can trade for him and get him on the roster. And according to Howard Beck of The Ringer, he recently interviewed an NBA executive on the Eastern Conference. And that executive said the following about Donovan Mitchell and if the Cleveland Cavaliers don't get out of the first round again this year. According to him, if the Cleveland Cavaliers, currently second in the East, flame out in the first round again, will Donovan Mitchell ask out? Or if Mitchell, slated for free agency in 2025, balks at the contract extension, as rivals expect, will the Cavs preemptively trade him? There's no doubt he's leaving once his contract ends. That was said by one Eastern Conference executive, echoing a belief held by many around the league. The reason that Howard Beck of The Ringer and these NBA executives were speaking was because they were trying to analyze the crash and burn theory. Basically meaning they were looking at players that if their teams failed to go further in the playoffs, that would be disgruntled, and potentially teams that had the assets could go after them and target them this offseason. And according to Beck, the playoffs could have a major impact on the summer market, forcing underachievers to consider more drastic moves. And that's why Donovan Mitchell's name was brought up in the first place. And according to Beck, even though the players that may be available this summer are still a question mark, he notes that we already know which teams are posed to strike if that star becomes available. It's the Knicks, the Nets, the Jazz, the Thunder, and the Spurs, who all have been stockpiling first-round picks in hopes of poaching the next wayward superstar. Shout out to NBA Insider Howard Beck for interviewing these NBA executives from around the league, because now we understand a little bit more about potential trade targets to watch this offseason. And the reason we can watch them is because if their team flames out during the playoffs, like maybe Cleveland does potentially in the first round, if that happens again, then Donovan Mitchell will be a name to watch. And according to one NBA executive, you just heard what he said, if that happens, Donovan Mitchell, once his contract ends, is going to leave Cleveland. The Knicks need to be looking at that situation and monitoring it with all eyes and all hands on deck. Because in my opinion, if Donovan Mitchell is available at any point in time, they need to throw everything they can to try to get Donovan on this roster. I was doing a live stream recently, and during the stream, I was talking to live callers, and one caller spoke about Donovan Mitchell and potentially stated that they did not want to see Donovan on this roster because they didn't like the defense from Donovan and they didn't like his fit. Here's the thing I got to say about this. The defense with Donovan Mitchell, that's an old thing to say now, because if you've been watching what Cleveland's been doing this year, Donovan Mitchell as point guard, the way he's been playmaking, passing the ball, but more importantly, the way he's been defending has been extremely impressive. He's gone back to his defensive ways, and he's needed to do that because Cleveland has been down a lot of players. And if he didn't play defense, the Cavs would be nowhere near where they are right now. He stepped up his game in a huge way, and he's proved a lot of people wrong. People who said he couldn't lead a team, people who said he couldn't play defense. All of those people have not been able to say anything this season because he's been playing impressive basketball and he's led Cleveland, not by himself, but still, he's been a large part of what they've been doing. He's led them to the second place in the Eastern Conference. That's huge. They've been dealing with so many injuries, kind of like the New York Knicks, but they found a way to win. Donovan Mitchell has found a way to win. I just don't understand why some fans don't want to see Donovan and Jalen Brunson share the backcourt. A lot of them keep telling me, oh, they're undersized. Oh, they're too small. You know what? For me, I'm not worried about that anymore. One reason for that, because we now finally have the wing that we've always needed and that we've always wanted in OG Anunoby. Now that we have him, I don't mind playing a smaller backcourt. Now, mind you, the smaller backcourt that we have, they actually play defense. Jalen Brunson, one of the league leaders in charges taken. He does that. He puts his body on the line and he stays in front of defenders. He's not afraid of contact. So you have that guy in the backcourt. You have Donovan Mitchell, an improved defender, somebody who's going to pull defenders around him and still play make at a high level and get other players involved, make other players look good. You're telling me that backcourt wouldn't work for the New York Knicks? Come on, guys. It would absolutely work. And under Tom Thibodeau, I think Donovan Mitchell would be an even better defender. We have to acknowledge these things. We have to admit what's going on today. I know it's easy to look at the past and say, well, this player did this and this player did that. We can't do that. We have to talk about what's going on this season too. This season, Jalen Brunson is an all-star. Donovan Mitchell, another time all-star. You put them both together, guess what you have? An all-star backcourt. You pair that backcourt with the potential Defensive Player of the Year candidate in Mitchell Robinson. Same thing goes for OG Anunoby when he's healthy as well too. You pair all of that with Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson, that is absolutely lethal, dangerous. That team right there, that squad right there is absolutely pushing this Knicks team to the Eastern Conference Finals each and every year and potentially to the NBA Finals each and every year. That's how good they would be. All-star backcourt. They both play defense in their own way. I know we like to kill Jalen Brunson because of his size. Still takes charges. I know we want to kill Donovan Mitchell because of his size. Still plays defense. And then we already have defenders on the roster. Tom Thibodeau already makes players who play underneath him better defenders. We have to acknowledge that. Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell, they would be able to destroy the league. Who are you stopping? You go after Jalen, Donovan's open. You go after Donovan, Jalen's open. You try to double down on both of them, we have other shooters on this roster who can make you pay as well too. That would be such an amazing get for the New York Knicks. But right now, what they need to do is play the patient game, play the waiting game, a game that they are familiar with and that they've been playing for years now under Leon Rose. Donovan Mitchell may be happy now, but if the Cleveland Cavaliers flame out in the playoffs yet again and they don't get past the first round, I think that's going to set the stage for Donovan Mitchell potentially leaving Cleveland and going to another team. Now, whether that's in free agency or whether Cleveland trades him, that's anybody's guess. But if Cleveland looks to trade him, they're probably going to look at a team that has a lot of assets that they can get back in any potential Donovan Mitchell deal. And if that's the case, New York has to be on their list. New York has all of their first round picks. They have players right now on their roster that they could potentially include next season in a trade for Donovan Mitchell if they want to do that. Or they don't have to do that and they could potentially wait for free agency and try to get him that way. But if we know the New York Knicks, if Donovan Mitchell is available and he's available for a deal that makes sense to Leon Rose, he is going to pull the trigger. He's going to make that deal happen and he's going to get Donovan on this team. Donovan Mitchell wants to be a New York Knick. During the offseason, where do we find him? In Cleveland? No. In New York City. In my opinion, it's only a matter of time before Leon Rose and the Knicks pull off a trade to get him. Right now, Donovan Mitchell's on a great Cavs team. But will they be great come the postseason? I don't think so. They haven't proved anything to me, especially because they've not been healthy. Once they're healthy, will they look like this? Will they look the same? Will they look different? Those are the questions they have to answer. But the Knicks, in my opinion, if they see Cleveland at all in the postseason, they're going to run through them because they have the personnel, even more this year than last year, to give them a better matchup. Maybe they might even sweep them better than gentlemen sweep them this year if they end up facing them in the postseason. A new opportunity for the New York Knicks could present itself if and when Cleveland doesn't do what it needs to do come the playoffs. The best thing for the Knicks to do right now is to do what they've been doing for years. Be patient, wait, and keep a watchful eye on Cleveland. And when that opportunity arises and presents itself, pounce, jump on it, and do whatever you can to create one of the most lethal backcourts in the NBA in Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson. But what about you guys? What do you think about this NBA executive in the Eastern Conference stating that Donovan Mitchell is absolutely going to leave Cleveland once his contract ends? Let me know in the comments below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below, and of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.